afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Power Hour. Thank you, Parisha, for having a great topic that I think I actually wondered about. So I'm excited to hear more from Lauracious today. Um, what I wanted to just express, I've been reaching out to some members. I just sat in on a local board meeting, and these are trying times for some people. Some people are wondering what's going to happen with the buyer agency coming up. And so I just want to let everyone know right now that I hear you, and we are all working together to increase and enhance our business. So what you'll see from us in the next coming weeks are things that we can do to enhance your business. And if you have any ideas or suggestions as well, please share with us. Parisha has taken time to put together an awesome June summit. It says virtual summit, but this is all about side hustles. It's how to take your real estate business to the next level and incorporate other avenues of income and streams of income into your real estate business. So thank you, Parisha. The timing couldn't even be more perfect. And it's a great topic for discussion. So I just basically want to let you know that we are all working together for the common good, which is advocacy for our people in our community. But hey, we have to remember ourselves, right? We need to put the oxygen mask on ourselves right now and prepare ourselves for what's coming. So look forward to supporting everyone in those efforts, and have a great Power Hour.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Rhea. And so for our Power Hour, we have our gracious Mr. Presley, who is actually going to give us some information on himself first before we get to the PowerPoint. Now, do you need me to help you run the PowerPoint, Mr. Presley?
You can run it if you like, or I can run it, whatever's easy. You have it?
I have it somewhat, but if you could run it, that would be better because you can do the pacing, but you let me know what's the best thing to do, sir.
Okay, that's fine. I have it. I'll share the screen whenever you guys are ready.
Okay, so we just need to give him capability to share a screen.
And she did.
Oh, well, go ahead and take it away, Mr. Presley.
Okay, so I just want to first say thank you very much to CAREB and the whole hierarchy. And thanks for thinking of me, Parisha. My name is Lauracious Presley III, and I am a HUD certified housing counselor. And a lot of people don't know what that means. When I first came into this business, you just had to take 2 funky classes and you can call yourself a housing counselor. Then we had the market correction, I would call it, around 2008. And so the industry figured to be licensed for real estate, you have to take an exam. Doctors, lawyers, dentists. So they said, why not housing counselors? How can you counsel folks and you don't even know anything about it? So they said in August of 2017, they said you must pass a federal exam to call yourself a HUD certified housing counselor. And they gave us 3 years. They said, we'll give you 3 years to pass this test. And if you haven't passed it, you cannot call yourself a HUD housing counselor. And if an agency doesn't have one person that passed that test, they have to shut their business down. So NID is who I work for, NID Housing Counseling Agency, which is under the umbrella of NAREB, the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, which is our federal organization. Of course, CAREB is the California Association of Real Estate Brokers. And I am a local member of the Consolidated Board of Realtist. So then NID made us pass that test in 3 months. We had to pass it prior to January 1st, 2018. All of a sudden, COVID hit in 2020, and HUD said they would give everyone an extra year to pass the test. And that test is actually harder than the real estate exam, in my opinion. And so here we are today. And some of the things we do, we help clients who are losing their home to foreclosure, who are facing a financial hardship. We do loss mitigation, foreclosure prevention, default management, whatever you want to call it. We're just trying to sustain generational wealth. We're trying to keep that home ownership in these families. The second thing I do, or actually the first thing also, it's primary, is a first-time homebuyer class I also call it a homebuyer education class because 90% of homeowners did not read those contracts or disclosures. There was way too many pages and they wouldn't have understood it if they read it anyway. And so I'm able to give, we probably have a lot of real estate professionals on this call that are either lenders or real estate agents or brokers. I can provide the certificate, the HUD certificate that enables your clients to apply for down payment assistance. It is a prerequisite. And I've had clients to get anywhere from $90,000 to $300,000 down payment assistance, depending on the city, state, county that they purchase in. So that's kind of like an overview. We do get calls from homeless folks and folks that are getting evicted, and we mainly do referrals when it comes to that. But I found out that having a listening ear with compassion and understanding, and also going over the budget, that's the big thing I do. Financial literacy. A lot of folks have no clue. They come in my office crying, tears literally, and they leave laughing because people don't look at 7-Eleven and McDonald's and Starbucks. That stuff adds up. And if you add it up daily, it'll be a big amount monthly. And then when you multiply times 12 and look annually that I spent that much money on coffee or that much money on hamburgers. So the budget, the financial literacy, especially in our community where we're decimated, we're the bottom of every positive category. We're the lowest in home ownership. We're the lowest in college degrees. We're the highest in incarceration. So our community, the low to moderate income community, the Black, African-American, Negro, colored, whatever word you want to put on it, we need help. And so I'm so gratified to be a HUD housing counselor to, number one, create generational wealth for families and also to help sustain generational wealth. Any questions?
I got a question. Are we going to look at your picture this whole time, or are you going to turn the camera off? Was that the question you're looking for, or some other type of question? Are you speechless?
NID Housing Counseling Agency is the agency I work for, and we are a HUD-approved organization in partnership with the Department of Housing and Urban Development since 1990. Okay, so this is my first time home buyer slide or advertisement. I pretty much do first time home buyer classes every day. I'll do one person or one family individually. And so I send them an email. They fill out my intake package. They gather all the documents that are required. We set up a counseling session. We go over their budget. And after completing this homebuyer education class and the most important one-on-one counseling session, I'll give them that certificate that can be used to apply for federal, state, county, city, free money, down payment and closing cost assistance. Like I said before, the next big thing we do is help clients to avoid foreclosure. That's the dark side, they call it in training. The light side is when you get the keys to your house, you're crying tears of joy. When they come to me about foreclosure, losing their family's estate, they're crying tears of pain. And so I deal with all the banks and all the servicers, and I've had a lot of success. So if you have any family, friends, neighbors, clients who are facing foreclosure in a financial hardship, behind on their mortgage, give me a call. We're certified all across the United States. So yeah. The next thing, homelessness can affect anyone. I had a family member that was really rich, and then all of a sudden I saw him living in the bushes, homeless. It touched my heart. And so what I've learned is respect, compassion. These are human beings also, and it could happen to anyone. We also do the reverse mortgage counseling. The formal word is HECM, or the acronym Home Equity Conversion Mortgage. That's very important too. If you're over 62 years old, depending on your specific situation, there's a lot of folks on fixed income where their spouses have passed away, but they can use that equity in their home to sustain and live a healthy, happy life. And on the bottom right-hand corner is our corporate office phone number, but you guys can get in contact with me anytime, email, text, call the office, call my cell phone. I'm here for you 24/7. Okay. Are you dealing with the loss of income, an eviction, homelessness, or other serious issues that can affect your housing? Give us a call. We do everything when it comes to housing. And when I went to training, I used to go across the country to see what they're doing in New York or down south and in the Midwest. And I didn't realize that the majority of housing counselors, at least back then, did not have a real estate license. I was one of the few. So I am licensed to sell real estate in California, in addition to being federally certified through HUD as a housing counselor. Financial freedom. By taking proactive steps to address your financial challenges, you can work towards a more secure and stable financial future. This is where we teach financial literacy, budgets. We talk about discipline. You see that piggy bank right there? Very important. Fair housing. Fair housing. You see all these colors, shapes, and sizes. Back in the day, prior to like 1968, I mean, I heard about a paper bag theory in Los Angeles, where if you were darker than this paper bag, you couldn't go west of a certain street. They were on title. It's not enforceable, but it said you cannot sell your house to a black person. I don't know if it said colored or Negro or what it said, but all that's been thrown out the window. The redlining, the steering, the block busting. So we teach fair housing education. And this happens to be the 70th anniversary of the Brown versus Board of Education. I think that stuff is very, very important to know. If you understand your past, you can almost predict your future and enjoy your current. So any questions? Miss Parisha,
Yes, sir.
any questions? I'm here to field questions and comments, any suggestions.
This is
Where are
Tangia
you?
Bryant. I just had a comment. I'm a newly certified housing counselor, and I appreciate Lauracious coming today and having this information available. And I'd also like to add that Lauracious was gracious enough to help me with my training. So I just wanted to make a comment in regards to that. I am in the office in the High Desert area. We have a Victorville office that we just opened to serve the entire High Desert. And I am an NID HUD certified housing counselor.
I have a question, Loracious, and thank you for that, Ms. Bryant.
You're welcome.
How do you see, as an affiliate of NARAB, how do you see our CAREB members working more collectively with NID for these the seminars or the counseling that you have? So what does it look like if I have someone that I send to you? What does that process look like? And then how is that person then received back to me once they're ready for homeownership?
That's an awesome question. So I have banks call me, clients call me, real estate agents call me and say, hey, I have a buyer and I would like to send them to you for home buyer education or first time home buyer class. So I would enroll them in the class. They would fill out my intake. They would gather bank statements, tax returns, income information. We would go over their budget, answer any questions that they have. Once they finish the class, I would teach them the vocabulary. See, a lot of us real estate professionals, we throw around these acronyms, DTI, APR, HVAC, and all this stuff. And it's another language to the consumer. They have no clue what you're talking about. And I tell all the lenders and all the real estate agents and brokers, it will behoove you to send your clients to a first-time homebuyer class. It will make your transaction more seamless. They have less questions. They have a better understanding. And it's a win-win-win situation. So when I get finished with your client, I'll give them the HUD certificate that they can take to you and the lender, or if you're the lender and the real estate agent. And there's some real estate agents that specialize in DPA, down payment assistance. There's some lenders that specialize in down payment assistance, but the certificate that I give is the prerequisite to obtain the free money. And a lot of people want the free money, but I'm like, the knowledge, the education is way more important than the money, in my opinion, because the money comes and goes, but that knowledge will stay with you forever. Our people perish for a lack of knowledge. And I tell them knowledge is the key, but knowledge isn't just the key, but it's the key to you getting your keys. So I hope that answered your question.
Yes, and then there was the second part of the question. How does NID see collaboration with um, our local boards, YRD, and Women's Council?
I think that's a word of mouth thing. I mean, I'm willing to speak in front of anyone at any time. I love talking to the kids, but I've presented at at Consolidated Board of Realtors. I've spoke just to get the word out, you know, churches, a lot of people just don't know. And so, yeah, things like this we're doing right here for CAREB. If YRD has something like this, if Women's Council has something like this, I'm willing to serve.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Okay, I have a question. Does anyone else have any questions before I
have a
do my
question,
question?
so
We'll have
I'll
questions.
wait for you.
Okay, so my question is how do you get paid? So if I become a HUD counselor, do I go get a job? Am I on salary? Am I independent contractor still as a real estate broker? So that part has been scaved over for some reason. Not with you. I'm just talking about overall when I even ask other people in the business. So it's not clear if it's a job or independent contractor. Can you clarify that for me?
Okay, so the way we get paid, money talks and that other stuff walks. So I get reimbursed through the federal government since I'm HUD certified. And so what happens is, I think we were approved. So you know that the federal budget was 6 months late. By the time they signed off on it, half the year was gone. So what happened was they approved, I think, about $50 million for housing counseling across the United States for all agencies. I believe our company, NID, which should be public knowledge, it was 1 something million that we got in as an organization. And that money is distributed to us as housing counselors, depending on how many clients we see. We have to do these elaborate reports and we get reimbursed through the federal government. That's how we get paid.
Okay, so I have a follow-up question to that. So now that you said that, that means that you as the HUD counselor also have to do the outreach and fill up the room with the seminars and things of that nature. So you have to do some boots on the ground yourself, like your own kind of marketing of it, just so that I'm clear.
So I do a little bit of marketing. The corporate office does a lot of marketing. Like I said, again, it's a lot of word of mouth. But the blessing is there's a phone number on the back and the front of every mortgage statement. And so if you're facing a financial hardship in regards to your mortgage, and California Mortgage Relief was even paying the back property taxes till they ran out of money. And so uh, when you call that number and you're in a financial hardship, a lot of times that goes straight to me, depending on the region that you have your home. So that's a blessing also.
Okay, so so I have another question real quick, and I apologize because I know Gloria has a question, so I'll get to you in a second. So now that you work for NID, can you take your counseling certification to any other housing counseling facility or other organization, or are you stuck with NID?
No, ma'am. It's just like working for fast food. You can go from McDonald's to Jack in the Box. I'm not stuck. My certification is lifetime, and I could go to any certified HUD agency and be a housing counselor.
Okay, that's all my questions for now. Thank you.
But let me add to that, we are the largest minority housing counseling agency, and we're one of the best in the country. So unless I started my own, I would not leave NID. And Mr. Ray Carlisle, he brought his whole family into this. His whole heart and soul is into this. And I really believe in this. My branch manager, excuse me, my certified branch office manager, my CBOM is the illustrious Evelyn Audrey Reeves. And she's the biggest angel that I know. And I've been blessed uh, with angels around me, like a lot of people on this call or some of my mentors. And I'm just giving back.
Okay, thank you, Lauracious. All right, Gloria, you can go ahead with your question. Thank you for waiting.
Thank you. You asked my question, so I have my answers. Thank you.
Oh,
What was Gloria? I'm just curious. What was your question? And that was my mother's name. God bless you, Miss Evans.
Thank you so much. I love my name. You know, I was just going to ask about the marketing piece, and because I am in the process of signing up to open an office in Central Valley. I was certified through the NACA program. I used to work for them. So I was able to, like you said, you can go anywhere because it's lifetime. So I was able to talk to Mr. Carlisle, and he's working with me right now. So I'm excited, but I just wanted to know the marketing piece because I'm in the beginning of the process.
And it's interesting. You mentioned NACA. We collaborated with NACA and did a few events. There's a big church, a mega church here called West Angeles. We've collaborated with. And then Gloria, you may want to get in touch with Tangia Bryant. She's brand new. She's amazing. I helped her and her whole crew with the training, the pre-testing before she even passed the test. Um, I mean, she's a go-getter. She opened her own office. She has the passion. She has the compassion. And so I would say if you're starting, that'd be a great person to talk to, because a lot of these veterans, like I say in real estate, even during my first time homebuyer classes, they start talking this vocabulary that the clients don't understand. They front end DTI, back end DTI, 40% debt ratios, 50. And I said, excuse me, does anybody in the crowd know what DTI stands for? They're like, no. So then I have to slow down the professionals. I mean, we know this stuff. They don't have a clue they don't know the difference between a home warranty or home insurance. Or we know when someone says escrow, are we talking the escrow impound account or the neutral third party that facilitates a transaction? So they don't really understand how deep this thing is. They don't know what the preliminary title report is for in the chain of title. So we go through everything from A to Z, and I do my classes very unique. I call myself the best in the country. I'm very intelligent. I'm hardworking. I have compassion, and I was in those situations personally. And so, I mean, if you're in it for the money, this isn't the business for you. I mean, you can make a lot of money, but it's more of a service-driven, compassionate thing. You know, a lot of people think that they're going to make tons of money or convert these foreclosures into sales. And, you know, that's like a conflict of interest. You know, you can make a whole lot of money as a commission selling a home. You're not going to make as much saving their house from foreclosure. But to me, my heart, it touches my heart when I save homes and when I create generational wealth for these first-time home buyers.
All right, that sounds great, Richard. Now, you've opened up a couple of more questions I have. Now, I didn't know that you did training on HUD counseling or becoming certified as a HUD counselor. That's like the biggest secret. Is that something that you do on a regular that people can actually take your class or course? Do you have a course or class? Or are you just picking people off individually?
I'm willing to help anybody, and it's actually informal, and I don't get paid for that, except from God. You know, He's blessing me. But thank you for that. That's a segue. NID, I found out yesterday there was almost like 1,700 applications. There's about 7 or 8 training organizations through HUD. NID just became approved to be an official HUD training partner. And so that's brand new in the works. In addition to that, we have a couple of HBCUs that we've partnered with. So that's a whole nother program we're doing. And MSIs. I didn't even know what an MSI was, a minority serving institution. So Mr. Ray Carlisle and his daughter, Letitia, and his granddaughter, and I mean, the whole family's working and they're working hard, just trying to change the dynamics. You know, we're trying to create more Black home ownership. We went to Mount Vernon, New York for the Building Black Wealth tour, met with the mayor who was the head of all Black mayors. I don't know if you guys know Heavy D and rap. It was his high school. Everybody's heard of Denzel Washington. It was his high school. Right now, Puffy Sean Combs is in a lot of trouble. He was from Money Earning, Mount Vernon. And it was just so awesome to be in New York City and to touch those folks. And our national president, you know, building Black wealth. You know, we had Black Wall Street before it was blown up, and Rosewood in Florida. And, you know, we're trying to go back there, you know, where y'all know what I'm talking about, man. I just get really excited when we start talking about this Black love. And obviously I'm a HUD counselor. I deal with all cultures, all races, all shapes, sizes, and colors. And I'm not biased, but our people, I saved an email from HUD. They know that our people need the most help. And they're throwing programs out there specifically to help our folks.
Okay, great. Does anyone else have any comments, questions, or anything else for Laracious? You've been a wealth of information. I got a lot of information out of this too, for sure.
I have a question. Do you
Okay, go
need,
ahead, Valerie.
do you need to have a nonprofit organization to be a HUD counselor? I'd looked at some information online previously and they were referencing that. So do we need that nonprofit?
So Valerie, the only requirement, well, there's 2 requirements. You have to pass that federal exam to be a HUD certified housing counselor. And then you have to partner with an agency. Those are the only 2 things you need to do to start counseling.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
But I think, and I could be wrong, correct me, if you're trying to start your own agency, that's a whole nother process. So it wasn't clear, are you trying to start your own agency, Valerie? Or are you just looking to become a counselor with a already established agency?
Either or, actually, just haven't really decided, but I'm open to either way.
So yes,
Okay.
Barisha, that's great clarification. Valerie, if you're trying to start your own agency, that's totally different than just being, I'm not going to say a measly, but just being a housing counselor, totally different. Yeah, if you want to start your own agency, you have to go through the federal government and HUD, and you can go to the HUD exchange or you can Google HUD housing counselor. It'll give you all the information you need and what you need to do to start your own agency or become a HUD certified housing counselor.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate the clarification.
Yes, ma'am.
All
Come on
right,
now.
great.
Somebody's got a question now. Come on.
I know I'm trying not to think of something else because you know me and my questions. But okay, well, you know what, NID, that was the other thing. What is your thoughts on, because NID is through national, and I know when we go to the national conference, they normally have on that first or second day NID training or a track. So how likely is it that NID will also allow, because I know when I looked into it a little bit, they're about area, like territorial. So they won't allow so many agencies within so many miles of each other. And this will help you out too, Valerie, in case you're looking for that. So when you're going to start an agency or going to work for an agency or whatever, it's not, they don't want that competition thing. So with NID, so for example, say one of us wanted one out in Palm Springs or something. I'm just throwing it, maybe an area that doesn't have one. Do you have an idea? And if you don't, it's okay, because I understand that you're a counselor, but since you've been in it for a minute, do you have an idea of how that process will go with trying to see if you can get a branch with NID?
Okay, so first thing I thought of was McDonald's. You don't see a McDonald's across the street from another McDonald's.
Right.
So it's kind of similar. I think we have like 45 branches across the United States. So I would suggest that anyone who's interested, like Valerie and Gloria, when you're in New Orleans at our national conference, please go. If you've never been, it's amazing. It's a big family reunion. It's knowledge. It's a million things in one. I love it. Touches my soul. It would behoove you to go to the class. They'll give you great insight, and you'll be able to talk to, if it's not Mr. Ray Carlisle, he's usually there, but his daughter's the vice president, Letitia. You can talk to her, get all the information you need, all the paperwork you need. And it's a privilege. Everybody's not going to be approved for an agency. There's a lot of things you have to go through, a lot of hoops you have to jump through. And see, Tangia was smart because she passed the exam. See, the exam is very difficult, and a lot of people talk. They want this, they want that, but she put her money where her mouth was, and she came to Mr. Carlisle with this certificate. Look, I passed. She showed how serious she was with this. So I would say you guys start taking the practice test and get prepared to pass that exam. That way, when you come in August, end of July, August, you can already have, say, Mr. Carlisle, I already passed the test. Hey, I'm ready to roll. Whether you're going to be a counselor or whether you're going to start your own agency as a CBOM, a certified branch office manager.
Hey, thank you very much. That's very informative. Appreciate it.
I'd like to add, this is Tangia Bryan, and thank you, Lauracious, for those comments. And like you said, this is a passion, and it's not about the money. It's about providing the resources to the underserved and unserved residents in the high desert and throughout the nation. My suggestion would be, you know, exactly what Lauracia said, is if you have a desire to do this and to go ahead and pursue taking the steps for the exam. Lauracia was gracious enough. He took part in, we had a HUD counselor online study group that we did with our High Desert Local Board Association. And Lauracia took the lead in that. And I so much appreciated that. And out of that, we have 2 certified housing counselors. And I'd like to thank him for that.
And you're welcome. And thank you for your hard work and sacrifice. I mean, we're stronger together. And, you know, we bounce things off each other. God blessed us all with different talents. But if we all come together, like our national president, Courtney, you know, we touched 25,000 people in one day across the United States. This thing is serious. And I was, you know, I met her, you know, I haven't been in front of the crowd as much as a lot of you all. I'm kind of behind the scenes, but a young lady was going out as the National Women's Council president, and she said it was on her heart. I guess she had a dream or something, and she called me and asked would I be the MC for her event. And our national president, Courtney, was the mistress of ceremony. And so we were on this stage in front of three, 4, 500 people, and it was amazing. And now to see her as the national president, I mean, that woman has a God-loving heart. She's real serious about this Black home ownership. And so I'm just happy you guys are on this Zoom, and I hope you guys take the ball and run with it. And like I said, we're stronger together than apart. So if you guys need anything, you can call me anytime, 24/7, and you know, I'll be there for you.
All right. Do they have your contact information? You want to put it in the chat, or actually there ain't too many Laracious out there. I guess we could Google you. Can you put in the chat for us, Laracious? Please. You know, the number you want us to have. Will be appreciated. So does anyone else have any other questions for Laracious? We actually are ending a little early if that's it. So that's why we have time. We have until 1 o'clock. But if you guys got most of everything you want out of them right now and maybe think of something later or after the power hour, you're more than welcome to reach out to Laracious. So before we close out, I want to make sure Madam President gets to say a couple of more announcements because we do have some more people on the line that weren't there initially. And Madam President, you still there? Would you like to? All right.
Definitely. Yes. Thank you, Laracious, for sharing that information. I really do appreciate everything that NID does for the community. And I like what you said about advocating for the community, because that is also what our purpose and goal is as Real TIST. So we are a trade organization, and we are, again, as I mentioned in the beginning, looking to support one another in our businesses, but we also have to always remember the mission of advocacy for our community and Black home ownership. Not to say we can't forget about ourselves, because we have to put the oxygen mask on ourselves first, but to remember the mission at hand. And so again, look out for our newsletters and updates, our e-blast, where we have the virtual summit coming up, where we'll talk about various different industries. This is a good kickoff. Various different industries, real estate related, that folks are doing to generate streams of income. Also, love to see you guys at the national conference in New Orleans, and we'll start. We'll see if we have a group. We had a good group chat during midwinter. So if we can't do a group chat through whatever app we're using for national, we'll start up another group chat for midwinter. It worked out well for us to kind of stay connected and hang out, get to know one another, network, and that sort of thing. So thank you again, Carisha, for putting together a great power hour. We are looking to put together some more educational content for you guys around preparing for the buyer's representation agreement that's coming out through NAR, CAR, and our local association. So we hear you, we support you, and you'll hear more from us in the educational committee about that. And I think we have Booker with a hand raised.
All right, go ahead, Booker.
Okay, awesome. I just want to say to Laracious and to all you guys, I know for a fact that Laracious is a great resource. I've referred numerous clients to him, and I've gotten positive and immediate feedback from him when I do so. So if any of you have any questions or doubt about what he can do with an ID, that's my little testimony.
And you know what, let me add to that, because sometimes I get a little frustrated with some of my clients. I'm dealing with the public, and Booker sits really close to me. And, you know, he's a minister, and he always brings God into it. And he says, I need to be more compassionate. And I really appreciate his feedback. I love constructive criticism. It could just make me a better person. And it helps me to slow down. He's on one side of me, and Zana Wilkins is on the other side of me. And they keep me straight. And I really appreciate them. And God has put angels all around me. Parisha, I mean, she's been awesome. I've been able to vent to a lot of these people. And I just want to say thank you to you all.
All right. No, well, thank you guys. And thank you guys for showing up to the Power Hour, always being a supportive to the state. And we want to make sure you join us for our June 20th Power Hour, our virtual summit. And other than that, you guys have a great rest of the day.
All right.
Bye
Thank
for
you
now.
very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye-bye.
good day. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Have a good day, everyone.